Welcome, y'all. Welcome to another edition of Digging Too Deep. Today is kind of special and dear to me, man, because it's hometown. It's Wichita Falls, Texas. Stand up, man. I got a special guest, man, from home, and I will tell you a little bit about him. You know, he's a peer of mine. He's an artist. He's a writer. He's a producer. You know, and much, much more. So I'll leave it right there. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring on my man's Harold Bennett.
Thank you very much for that intro. I don't know if it was all well deserving, but I appreciate it anyway. My most humble self. And thank you for allowing me to be interviewed on your show.
No doubt, man. Look, the pleasure's all mine, man, you know, because we come from the same place, man. You know, we been at the same park, been at the same YMCA, you know, same families' homes. On that note, too, you know, we're fam by relation, if you will, right. You know, right. Because right. That's how I met you, through your cousin, right. Which I had a group with, you know, back in the day. And
Black Embassy.
And on that note, with your radio station, man, you used to give us love, man. You used to give us love.
Black Embassy, for those who don't know, you know, Black Embassy was the Texas version, in my opinion, of Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? That's without the Flavor Flav. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Instead of a flavor, we had two head MCs that were going back and forth. And y'all were rapping about conscious and political issues that affected Black America at a time when really Black America wasn't ready to hear that. We had other artists that were doing that, but they were all shelved, including Public Enemy, X-Clan. You know what I'm saying? So
no doubt.
I was doing y'all thing, and y'all sounded good too. I mean, you know, if I could find a Black Embassy cassette, that would be dope. I do have some Black Embassy music though. Don't get it twisted.
No doubt. I know you do, man.
Got Welfare Cheese. I got a couple of other ones too. You know
yeah, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy you said that though, because I remember you coming up to me and saying, man, exactly what you just said. You like, man, that's Public Enemy of the South, man. You know, and we knew it was ahead of its time, but hey, man, that's all we could do. You know, you can't fake the funk. You know. Right. Yeah, I just appreciate that, man. I just appreciate the love, man. You used to put us on your playlist, you know.
Yeah,
and that's love.
Yeah. Y'all still playing on City on Lock Online Radio. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, Black Embassy is playing on there. If it ain't playing,
that's what's up.
And I may have stolen a couple of songs and put them on YouTube as well.
Hey, what they say? A fair exchange ain't robbery. You hear me?
You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting paid from it. So.
But it's the love, you know what I'm saying? It's all, you know, and I mean, it's love. And you know, you said the radio station. Go ahead and you know, tell us a little bit about that, man.
Me myself, I was given an opportunity to venture off into radio as a radio personality, board op, and when I was given that chance by a guy here in Wichita Falls to go into professional radio, which he was working for Cumulus Broadcasting at the time here in Wichita Falls. And we befriended each other. Right. And he asked me just one day out the blue, he was like, man, what do you want? I'm like, man, I just want to know how the radio works. You know, because I had an answer for him. Like, it wasn't like I had some ulterior motive. The motive was simple. I was aspiring at the time rap artist, and I was trying to figure out why certain songs were being played on the radio and other songs weren't. We had a local group at the time when I was introduced into radio in 2004 that was getting radio play, and none of the other local artists were getting any radio play at all. So that's how I ended up in radio. You know what I'm saying? I really wanted to know how radio worked. And I knew the only way I was ever going to find out was from the inside. So
that's strong.
When I befriended Joseph Cameron is the programming director's name here in town, you know, and he gave me the opportunity. I really felt like that was a blessing and a chance to really really spread my wings and get to know how this thing radio worked, and then see if I could, you know what I'm saying, use it to my advantage once I was there. So
Right, right.
Cameron gave me that opportunity. I still believe he's there at the radio station. So shout out to him, and I'd like to thank him for that for sure.
No doubt. No doubt. That's love. And it's crazy, man, that you say that, because you got into it, stayed into it. And to me, it's because it wasn't only for yourself. It's because you wanted to do a service. And we just alluded to it with, you playing unsigned artists, unheard people. And the first thing you said was, man, why some people getting playing, some people ain't. See,
that's exactly why I ventured into it. Anything that I've ever done, just to keep it 100, once I know how it works, I try to open the door for others who are interested in
no doubt. And I was just saying, when you do a service, man, services get helped. We'll say by the universe. We'll say by the Most High, whatever people call him or it. But I know for a fact, in my experiences, when you do something for somebody else, regardless of what it is, regardless of what the relationship, it'll go through, because it's for the right reason.
Right. Some people call it karma. Some people call it God. Some people call it the law of attraction. But
there it is.
Definitely there, and it's definitely real.
No doubt. No doubt. So from what I understand, you're not on the radio station anymore, if I'm saying that right.
No, I left terrestrial radio, and that's just the proper term for the people in the back who don't know. But I left terrestrial radio, which was FM AM radio, in 2016.
Okay.
So I was there for 12 years. And the 12 years that I was there, anytime I was on air, I was somehow, some way promoting or playing local artist music. A lot of them I gave interviews. A lot of artists I gave them their very first interview on radio, which they never would have had. A lot of artists, I played their music on the radio station. I learned how the politics of the radio station actually worked, and we were able to put some artists, give them a bigger platform than they had before I was on the radio. And just keep it 100, what I did on the radio is rare. Like, if you ever hear of a DJ on an FM radio station that's playing local music in a rural area, he not gonna have his job for long. Because that's not part of the protocol. That's not something that a DJ has to do. No DJ has to play local unsigned artist music. As a matter of fact, if you do, you risk jeopardizing your job at that moment.
Right. Because there's a playlist sort of thing. There's a format that these radio stations have, right?
Ain't nothing sort of to it. There is a playlist. There is a playlist that they have that's handed down to them straight from corporate. This list is of all the hot artists that all the major record companies have put their money into, that they call marketing. So that marketing money is to pay the radio stations for playing their music. And then you also have payola going on, which no doubt. That's just what it is. It's always going to be payola. If you hear a local artist that's blowing up in your area, and you got more than 500,000 people in your area listening to that radio station, and out of the blue, this guy comes up and you're hearing his music, and he's a local artist. Yeah, he didn't have to pay somebody. He had to friend somebody. He had to pay somebody. He had to build a relationship. He didn't just walk up to the station and say,
on talent.
Music. He was like, oh, bet. No, that don't work. You don't get none of that action. That's not how that works.
So let me ask you this, man. You touched on something, and I want to kind of back up on it. Like you said, it comes down from corporate, right? So me knowing the kind of inquisitive mind you have, the philosophical mind that you have, how much, if any, do you think from corporate that there is an agenda perpetuated from corporate? through music.
You need to be more specific. There's always
Right.
a jet.
Right. What I mean as far as against us. Let me get specific. To perpetuate genocide and, perpetuate, misogyny and, trying to, in quotes, keep us enslaved or keep us acting a certain way. And let me point that to this, because it was said that music, those guys actually got together when they made the deals for these penitentiaries. They said that those people got together and said, hey, man, play this certain kind of music so we can get more people to go to jail.
Right.
How much of that you think is real?
Um, I know that there was an agenda to take consciousness rap music out of the mainstream. I know
Right.
that. I
Right.
watched that happen
Right.
in real time. I watched that happen in my lifetime.
Right.
So the opposite of that would be them coming together and purposely planning to do these things, right?
Right.
I would say this. I don't know if that conspiracy theory is true or not. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But I would say that America is a business.
No
And in
doubt.
any business, whenever you are involved in any corporation, anything that's incorporated that has stockholders, the whole objective of that business is to make money for the stockholders, period. And that's something that poor people can't understand. You hear what I'm saying?
I
Because
dig it.
we think in those terms. You know what I'm saying? We don't think in terms of how long we gonna rule this block, or
Right.
because I got to put it in small terms. You know what I'm
No
saying?
doubt.
So
No
they
doubt.
kind of understand. So like, how are we gonna make it to where our church is the only church that's doing well within a 6-block radius? Because that's the intent of the church is to gain members, bring in more money. These bills don't pay themselves, and God ain't finna pay
Right.
their light
Right.
bill. I don't care what they talking about. So they
Church.
got to bring their bodies in there in order to pay these bills. So the church, if the church was smart, they would plan for 50 years down the line. And you would have to implement certain things in order to ensure that you reach your goal 50 years from now, right?
Right. Right.
So that's how rich people think. And that's exactly how I would be thinking too. I mean, hell, if I had $1 billion and I wanted to make sure that I can make me 200 billion, first I'm going to align myself with other people who think like me,
Right.
right? I'm not going to have nobody who can't think of in the terms of $1 billion around me.
Right.
They don't
Right.
even
Right.
understand the concept of $1 billion. And to keep it 100, even though I'm speaking like this, I don't understand the concept of $1 billion. Like
Right.
a
Kind of hard to
billion dollars.
grasp. That's hard to
Yeah,
grasp.
I can't point one thing out that costs $1 billion. I don't know
Right.
what I don't know
Right.
what that
Right.
looks like.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know what
Right.
$1 billion home looks like. I don't know what $1 billion car looks like. I don't know what $1 billion watch looks like. I
And
have
don't
the
know if I want that. I don't even know if I want that.
Well, you're going to want the control and you're going to want the security. So
Right.
you're going to want the money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because the
Right.
money
Right. The
provides
power. The money is the power.
right. So
And it's
when
funny you say that.
go
But
ahead.
look. The church, man, they were always separate from the state. And it seems like what you're alluding to, what you're actually saying, man, is that the church got with the state. And the way you know that happened, because they said, okay, church, hey, we'll give you some federal money if you just put a nursery in the church. So now they're funding money. So now, like you said, at some point, it ain't even going to be about coming to the kingdom, saving souls. They're going to say it's about that to get them souls into them seats to get that money up.
I agree. The back to the conspiracy theory thing though. I believe that it's possible that that was done. Um, it makes sense that that would be done amongst rich people,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they have a, superior or superium, well, a superior um or superiorist, I guess, ideology. So like if they think that they are above certain groups of people based off of their skin color, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, then you're going to look at those people less than. And if, I mean, just to keep it 100, if I'm white, I don't want to see a lot of white people go to jail. I might know some of these people. Some of these people might be related to me and shit.
Right,
But if
right,
I'm not white, you know what I'm saying? Well, hell, then I might target all poor white people and try to get them all locked up. You
right,
hear what I'm
right, right,
saying?
right. Yeah, no, I get it.
So,
Yeah, I
so
get it.
I can see how that type of I can see how that could come into play. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I see what
Is
you're
it
saying. It's like you don't know if it's happening, but if it is, we wouldn't be surprised.
No, I would definitely would not be surprised living in America because the entire system is set up for Caucasian males.
Yeah,
And anybody
entitlement.
who
We call it
denies
that.
that, huh?
I was just saying, yeah, we call it entitlement. Like you said, the
The whole country though.
imperialistic.
I mean,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
the reason why I say the country, and I can say that confidently myself, is because when the country was founded by these Europeans, nobody there writing that constitution was black.
that's right.
They
And
had
we're actually
and
excluded from it.
right, they owned slaves, and black people weren't even slaves weren't even considered human. They were property.
3/5 of a man to get a vote to count,
So
type of
if
thing.
if they wrote that, and that's the mentality that they had at the time, they own women had no power. You know what I'm saying? So when
Right.
they wrote this constitution, they only had them in mind, period. That's just what
Dig
it
it.
was. I didn't
Yeah,
make that
man.
up.
Yeah,
And
no doubt.
because of that, history constantly repeats itself over and over because what? They want to stay in control, which makes sense. Like, you
Right, right. That's
know what I'm
anybody.
saying?
The natural order of things. You want to
Right.
keep what you got and get more.
Can we take a quick break for a second?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, let me take a quick break. I need like 2 minutes, bro.
All right, brother.
Yeah,
Well, hey, man,
don't
we're going to take a break and we'll be
yeah.
right back on Digging Too Deep. All right, y'all, we back. And hey, man, before you left, we were alluding to conspiracy theories, and I want to wrap that up, but I want you to really tell us, man, from your mind frame, because I like the way you think, and I'll get into that too. But what can we do, man, as far as stopping this narrative, the narrative of us destroying ourselves, us trying to identify, I like to call it identifying with the master. I think that's a lot of the problem. I think us trying to act like them has got us in a bad spot, man. So to that, you say what?
The first part was you said us destroying us.
Yeah.
What do you mean when you say that though?
Well, like this.
So give me an example
Okay, I'll give you a perfect example of that. The ones, I'll give you mine, but I'm gonna give you some others that you've heard. Crabs in a barrel. We can't get together and do anything. We can't even have a party without shooting and, that sort of thing. The mentality of, and I know some of it's been perpetuated through media, but all of it's not false because I've seen some stuff myself, man. Okay. So just on that, how much of that do you think is true? And if you do think it's true, What's the cause, or what can be done?
Um, the last one, okay, the shootings at parties. Um, I can only talk about my own personal experience, right?
Right.
So let me base it off of that. When I was growing up in the early 90s, right? That's when it was like 88
Mm-hmm.
when gang violence started
Mm-hmm.
in Texas. Um, maybe I might even give them as early as 86.
Yeah. Crack
You know what I'm saying?
epidemic.
Um, but the gang thing was more of a cultural thing at the time because it was being taught from one group of black people to another. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like we didn't learn
Dig it.
street gang banging from no Mexicans, no white
Dig
people.
it.
We didn't learn
Dig
none of
it.
that shit. We learned that from each other, right?
Right.
Um, was that detrimental? Did it do us a justice? Was it good for us? I
Right.
say no, but I have friends who are gang members or former gang members who still throw up the sets and do all that and
Mm.
cuz and HBCD cuz all this all
Yeah. Yeah.
cuz
Yeah.
and blood and all, you know what I'm saying? I got
Yeah.
people on both sides of that still do that will tell you even though they know it was detrimental, meaning it wasn't good for them.
Dig it.
It's like part of their life. It's like part
Yeah.
of their
It
family and
molded them.
they
Yeah.
loyal to that. They are
Yeah.
loyal to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, devoted. They are loyal to the soil about their gangs. So I don't really think the house party shooting up shit that started around that time, as far as I'm concerned. It may have
Right.
started,
Right.
it may
No, no,
have
you
met,
I agree.
but it started around that time. And we used to have house parties without any gun violence, but and sometimes there would be a fight. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what goes on in other cultures because I don't go to other cultures' parties.
Right.
So I can't say that that's just a black thing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? As much as I would
Mm-hmm.
like to, I'm not sure that's just a black thing. I'm thinking that's
Right.
more of a drunk. We don't know how to respond and act at that particular point in our life thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
think
do. I do.
I think it's more of that. I think it's more of I think that's what was happening at that time. Now, when we talk about crabs in a bucket mentality, or when you say black people will never get ahead because they can't get along, that type of shit right there.
Right. Right.
Um, a lot of that, in my opinion, a lot of those problems can be solved by eradicating poverty. Um,
Okay.
the reason
Okay.
why I say that is because when you hear about rich people parties, you don't hear about nobody over there getting shot up. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got money, nigga.
Well,
Shit.
they got a lot to
Everybody,
lose.
what? No, they ain't got nothing to lose. They can pay for that. You trip? They got money. They happy. They happy. They
Yeah.
happy first. You see
So
what I'm saying?
yeah, that's kind of like, it reminds me of like you said, the poverty part. If you starve everybody and then throw one steak in, stand back and watch them kill themselves for it.
What? Yeah, I'm gonna eat, bro.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
gonna
once
eat.
you hungry, the thinking goes out the window because now you're responding, you're
It's a survival
reacting.
mode. You don't
Right,
survive.
right. So yeah, that's good, man. You said I never thought about it like that. The poverty, man, is probably a big determining factor in all this other mess that's going on. That's church.
Poverty, in my opinion, is the biggest problem that black people as a whole face because we don't understand how poor we really are.
Yeah,
Yes, like we think, oh man, I'm well off. You know what I'm saying?
because I can
I
get a
got
phone, because I got a car, and yeah,
yeah, and I'm paying shit check to check, so I'm good, nigga. It that's basically more than 50% of Americans are living check to check. That means
no
we
doubt,
all, you know what I'm
no
saying?
doubt,
But we don't
no doubt.
understand that And then the rich uses the media to divide the poor people into sections. Now you got
Mm-hmm.
poor, middle class, rich.
Upper middle class, lower middle class.
See, and that's what they try to tell us. But the truth is, we got the poor middle class, we got the rich, and we got super rich. That's what we have. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have no middle class, nothing. It's poor.
Right.
We poor. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Either
This is
poor,
why
poor middle class, or you're rich.
yeah, or super
Church.
rich. So you
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
these rich people who rich, but they not super rich.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the super rich, they the ones that got billions of dollars.
How do they say it? You got the rich, then you got the wealthy.
Right.
You know.
You know
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I
Which
think
goes into that generational wealth thing, and that's a whole man. We could talk about that all day.
I
But
think
go ahead.
go ahead. Oh, okay. Well, I think just in short that the problem with that black people have all derives from our issue with poverty. Now, our poverty issue derives from something else. But
Right.
the issue that's stopping the majority of us from succeeding, the ones that can succeed, because we all can't succeed. Let's like you could give us all $3 million, $5 million. 35% of us gonna be broke tomorrow. They
No doubt.
finna mess that off today.
No doubt.
You know
No
what I'm
doubt.
saying?
No doubt.
And
No
it's
doubt.
easy to do now because I can tell you what $1 million car look like.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you what $1 million home looks like. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
easy to do. You know what I'm talking about? That's easy to trick right off. But
Right.
and the majority of us are going to do that because we are not financially literate.
Right.
So
right.
we're not
Right.
going to take that money and try to
Invested
yeah,
and
not all of us. Some of us are. Some
Right,
don't
right,
get
right.
it. Some of us finna jump right off into the stock market. Some of us got some really, really great friends that know things. But in
Right.
order for you to actually manifest anything in your life, you got to first manifest his money.
Yeah.
Because his money is what's going to open the doors and opportunities
Right.
for you to
Right.
get to the next level. So, in short, I really think that poverty is one of our biggest problems. How do we get out of poverty? I have an answer for that. One, we have to focus our mental power to things that actually help us.
Right.
That actually help us. And that would be instead of encouraging our children to become football players and basketball players, and I would even say actors.
Mm-hmm. Entertainment.
Rappers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to stop that. We
Yeah.
need to get out of that all the way around because that does not make us rich as a people. What
Right.
will make us rich as a people is to encourage our children to become lawyers. Why do black people need to be the number one people in America pushing their children to become lawyers? Because we the ones that are targeted the most by the laws.
And so we can fight it from the inside out.
So in order to actually get a foothold up on what the justice system and the law is doing to us, we have to encourage our children to go to school to learn the law.
Right.
Now, why do we have to do that? Because they don't teach that publicly in school for free.
Right. And that's what they use against you when they pull you over. They're banking on the fact you don't know the law.
Yeah.
And break the law with you every day. With you, me, back in the day, pulling us over.
Watch this. So you get pulled over, but there's no public class on what laws you can and cannot break.
Right.
Why they don't tell you? Why it ain't a class that tells you about the city laws?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to public school in Fort Worth, Wichita, Houston, there should be a class starting in elementary all the way up through public school that shows you all the laws and why you should not break them, what your consequences are if you do break them. You understand? Because you got to abide by these laws as a citizen. So it's not like, but if they did that, they would give the citizens a one-up on them. So they're not
empowerment. Yes.
All right. So we need to teach our children to go to school, learn the law, become lawyers, learn the Constitution back and forward so they can properly teach it to us when they come home. Because just the basics of your civil rights being violated, the majority of people be like, man, you should have just gave him your ID. Huh? Nigga, if he break my civil rights, Why, if he's violating my civil rights, why should I bow down and conform or, you know what I'm saying, kneel to this? That don't
Because
make no
all it's going
sense.
to do is give you the fruit of the poisonous tree. They already came wrong. Now they're going to book you for everything off of false statement. You know what I mean?
If we
So,
can't stand up for our constitutional rights, right?
right.
Then what is the purpose of having them?
There it is. Because like you said in the beginning, they excluded it from us anyway.
Right. So I would send the kids to law school. Let's get them off of entertainment, number one. Number two, we need more doctors. Why do we need more doctors? Because we as a people need to understand our own inside, our own anatomy. You hear what I'm saying? So we could properly share the information with other people. Because
Right.
black people's whole, I mean, as far as I know, we don't like going to the hospital.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, for a number of reasons. The biggest one is what? You can't afford it.
There goes the poverty issue.
There goes the poverty. My man. And see, that's why I watch you, man, on Facebook, and you know I do. And I ain't even hardly on Facebook because I'm always doing what I do. But when I am, I don't know if you know this, Bob, I make sure I look at you. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
And what I like that you do on Facebook, you start conversations, whether they're simple conversations or controversial conversations. But you always start with the latest one, you just say, hey, man, so I was reading something that Jesus wasn't a carpenter. Boy, that opened the doors, didn't it, man? And it's just, go ahead.
No, all I was going to say was that topic came from a previous post that I made where I was asking, since Jesus was a carpenter, and then I also added the source, the scripture, where it says Jesus is being called a carpenter, right? I just had a simple question. Since Jesus was a carpenter, then what has Jesus built?
Through carpentry.
Yeah, but if you're a carpenter, right? I mean, that would be like me calling you a mathematician. And I say, hey, what's 4 + 4? And you say, I don't know. Well, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold on. Why are they calling you a mathematician then? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if you don't even know how to. So it was a simple question. I already knew the answer was nothing, and that they couldn't identify any scripture or source that would say that Jesus actually built anything physical. But the question needed to be posed simply because there are all these other claims that Jesus has done. And if I'm to believe in the Bible, and I'm supposed to believe everything that's in the Bible, then what did Jesus build? Quit playing with me. If he was a carpenter,
that's a logic thing. Yeah. It's not so much as a belief thing. It's more of a logic thing. I get that.
And I only got one out of all the dialogue. I really only got one good answer. And the only good answer that I got was Jesus was never a carpenter, which I was like, okay, I could deal with that. And the reason why they identified him as a carpenter because
his father was one. Yeah.
His father was a carpenter.
And they usually hand that down.
Right. So you're right. I like to make things, my whole purpose on social media is to make content that will engage,
create dialogue.
Follow me,
yeah,
and create the dialogue and to make people think. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I really don't care what nobody else believe in. I really don't.
Right.
I'm more concerned about my own belief.
Right. And on that note, I chimed in on it because I thought it was interesting. And my thing was this, because this is the biggest deal. The Bible. Everybody looks at that and finds the reasons not to believe in it. Who wrote it? How many people wrote it? They weren't even around when Jesus was here and all that. And I just like to simply say, everybody's looking into the pot instead of the potter. My thing is this. If whatever it is, whatever you call it, wherever it came from, if it can help me today, I'm about it. Bottom line. Don't care where it came from. Don't care who wrote it. But if it behooves me in any kind of way, if it makes me a better man, if it makes me make better decisions, if it makes me think about consequences, I'm for it. So, and that's just where I'm at on that. But look, wars have been fought over this very topic, you know. And I believe I was talking to a gentleman and I say, hey, man, at this point, let's agree to disagree because of that very fact. You know, you believe what you believe, I'll believe what I believe, and we'll be good. Because my thing is logical too. Look, it's logic. Okay, if this stuff is all made up and none of it's true, and I'm following it, I'm still trying to do the right thing, trying to be a good person, blah, blah, blah. But if this stuff is true and I'm rocking with it, then I'm good. But if this stuff is true and I don't believe it, then I'm screwed. And that's just the way I look at it.
How are you? What? Look, I'm not even finna do that.
Right.
Look, again, I'm more concerned about what I believe than what anybody else believes.
Right.
So the questions that I'm posing when I'm on social media are simply to make people think. That's it. Right. And what the problem that I've been coming into is the things that I'm posing on social media or posting. A lot of times, just a simple question, just having the text arranged in a certain way will shake one's foundational belief.
There it is.
To them, this is what I would say. And I don't feel like they feel. But this is what I would say to them. If you really, really, really believe, and it is true. See, both of these things got to be in play at the same thing. Not just your belief, but the fact that what you're believing in has to be true. You hear what I'm saying? If those two things are in play, there's nothing that can be said to you that will shake your foundational belief. And if it is something that can be said to you that will shake your foundational belief, you, my friend, need to pray and go talk to your God. It has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I would say
and see, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I just love that whole outlook on it. You know, it doesn't make anybody right. It doesn't make anybody wrong. It just makes you look at and self-evaluate. And I can dig it. I can dig it. So look,
let me give you this, and then I'm gonna let you go on because I want to give you where my mentality is at, though, as far as religion goes. Because I've explained this to other people, they don't grasp the concept, and I fully understand because, as far as I know, the Bible doesn't promote you going to get information anywhere else outside of that Bible. As far as I know, I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Hopefully somebody can educate me in the future what books that the Bible do recommend that you read outside the Bible. But as far as I've always been taught, you ain't supposed to listen to none of that other shit. You don't supposed to listen to this. Right. My thing is this. I started, now, with that being said, there are things in the Bible that I practice.
Right.
Do you hear me? There are things in the Bible that I practice. But I had to start questioning things. And if the punishment for me questioning something is death, so be it. I got to ask the questions. I'm not finna be scared to challenge authority.
Right.
Because I don't want to lose my chance at getting my Christmas present at Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can dig
it. My Christmas present is eternal life, living with God. What? I'm not finna, I don't care nothing about that. The reason why I don't care is because I grew up in poverty. I grew up in missed Christmases. You hear what I'm saying? Right. Christmases would come and go, nigga, and I didn't get no gifts. So
right.
Being good for that reward, that's done.
That didn't pan out. Yeah.
So
well, no, I get it, man. It's like it's interpretation, like you're saying. But from what you're saying to me is what I'm getting out of it right now is that, hey, man, I'm reading something that's supposed to be good, but I still need to get my own interpretation out of it, and that's going to make you question things.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of stuff in the Bible that made me question the Bible, man. But it was only when I was brave enough to step outside of that faith and ask God direct questions.
There you go.
When I
Key. There's
actually
the key.
started, yeah, that's when I actually started understanding things in a different way. And then see, look, man, so let me just tell you what it is. That way, whoever listens, they can pass judgment on it, whatever. I don't care. Because they're going, you really think you're close to God? Oh, you think God? Oh, you really think you know something? Yeah, I get all this shit all the time. And it's weird.
What's part of the game?
See, if you godly, I don't think you should be saying shit like, not you. I'm saying the godly people should not be passing judgment on people who are not saying what they are saying. They shouldn't be passing judgment on nobody, but yet they do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we all groups do that. You can think about that. Here's a perfect example. The LGBTQ do not want to be judged, do not want to be excoriated. And in my opinion, a lot of that group does. That's a lot of what that group does. A lot of judging and excoriating other people because you're not accepting what they're doing. But that's just my opinion.
Right.
So I get where you're coming from, and I don't want to get too deep into it, man, because we'll never get off of it, and you know that.
Right, but let me say this though. So look, this is where I'm at with this. So when you see my post, this is where it's coming from. So what I come to figure out, just to keep it short and simple, is I feel like the power is inside of each living human being. That's what I feel. I feel, and the reason why is real simple. If I have to invoke a name in order to get something, that means that the power coming from me. Because if I don't speak it, it ain't happening anyway.
Right.
I don't care what I'm speaking. If I got to speak it in order for it to activate the power is actually coming from me. When you cut on the light switch, the light switch can't cut itself on and off. You got to go activate that power in order for the light to come on. So that's where I'm at with it. I figured out what made sense to me. And what made sense to me was, nigga, the power is in the belief. It ain't even in what you believe in. You can believe in Satan and accomplish your goals. You can believe in the rock fairy, the spaghetti monster, and accomplish your goal. The only thing that belief actually gives someone, if they've really read the Bible, is it offers you eternal life. There's nothing if you read the Bible, God, according to him, gives you free will. If you actually have free will, then there's nothing you could do that's going to stop that free will. You can pray about it. Nothing's going to stop that free will. Nothing's going to save you. Like what I'm saying is, from my interpretation of the Bible, God is not here to save people on earth. He's only here to save your spirit. And if that is the case, which that's what I've come to figure out, if that's the case, because that makes sense to me. The reason why that makes sense to me is because we have people who are being abused, tortured, manipulated all throughout this world, who have not committed a sin, who may not know God, but yet they are still going through the most horrendous shit in the world. Well, it's not because God looks at them and says that they are less than. It's because he can't do nothing. According to his own rules, he can't do nothing and step in and affect any of that. So the power actually is in you. Now, what you believe in is very, 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 very important. That's the important part. It tells you that in the Bible. It tells you if you, whatever you do spend a lot of time on, whatever you spend a lot of time indulging, that's what you're going to manifest. Those are the things you're going to do in your life. Those are the things you're going to purchase in your life. Do you hear what I'm saying? So
no doubt. Look, you said activate, man. Let me back you up. Mm-hmm. When you said, activating the power, all I could think of, well, I'm paraphrasing, but it put me in the mind frame of, yea, behold, I knock. When you said the light switch, the same, all the power's there, but you have to do something to activate it.
Yeah.
So I want to leave it right there because I think that's a good place to leave it. You know what I'm saying? Without getting back on it and then having to expound on some more tangents to bring it back in.
No, but let me do this though. Belief is where I left off at. And I
Yeah,
want people to understand there is power in belief.
no doubt. That's the
There's
basis.
power in belief alone. So whatever you put after the belief, okay, that's up to what your preference is. But the power is in the belief, my nigga.
No doubt.
I'm telling you what that is. Listen, what is a visual board?
Yeah. Oh, I'm a very visual creature, so I already know where you're going with. I'm very visual.
Okay, so why do visual boards actually work?
Because you can picture it. You can see it. Yeah.
What? And therefore you can manifest it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening, bro. That's all that's happening. And we need to hear more of that because it's real. You hear what I'm saying? That part of it is absolutely real. That's why white people still use vision boards to this day. I was using vision boards and didn't realize it. A lot of us was. Let me give
we're
you
big. On this network, we're big with whiteboards.
Let me give you an example of a vision board for poor kids, for poor black kids. Did you take magazines and tear out pictures and post them on your wall as a kid?
Yes, sir.
You had a whole wall of a vision board. That's facts. You hear what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
the power in the belief. Yeah, the power is in the belief.
Waking up looking at it, going to sleep looking at it. Yeah, man.
What?
Yeah.
What? You finna manifest this shit. Hey, man, it might take a little bit longer for some people, but as long as you keep looking at it, keep thinking about it, it's coming, bro. It's coming. I don't care what you talk about. It's coming.
I know you got me. I'm laughing because I had a whole wall of a stop sign with jet beauties around it.
Come on, man. How many jet beauties have you knocked down? I know you don't want to disclose that. It's cool. But you don't knock down.
But I hear you though. No, it's hey, look, it's a very profound premise that you're putting there, you know what I'm saying? And it's not blasphemy, I get it. It's just that you're saying if somebody asked me, what was he just saying? I would say, to paraphrase, he's saying, man, look inside yourself, believe, and you will achieve.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's it.
That's
cool.
Exactly what I'm saying.
So I love agreeing. I love being on one accord, same page of music, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But I want to go to now, I want to fast forward to, you said you quit DJing in 2016, right?
No, I ain't never stopped DJing.
I did say that, bro. You left the radio station.
Yeah, I left terrestrial radio in 2016.
That's right, because when it's in you, not on, it's in you, not on you. You sure right. But so now, what do you do? What have you been doing since 2016?
Since 2016, I've been doing the same thing that I was doing when I was at the radio from 2004 to 2016. I have a online radio station.
Mm-hmm.
We operate off of Live 365, which is an online radio station company that hosts thousands of online radio stations.
Gotcha.
Right? So, on that station, Color 940, which is an acronym for City on Lock Online Radio. 940 is the area.
Say that one more time, my G.
The name of the online radio station that we have is City on Lock Online Radio 940 or 940. And
the acronym is Color. That's dope.
And the
I like
acronym,
that's dope.
Yeah, the acronym is Color. Color940.com. So it's City on Lock Online Radio 940, Color940.com. It's all the same thing, right?
Plug.
In the color already. And the color part is the slogan that we have that runs with it is color. Get you some, you dig? So, everybody need a little color. So
no doubt.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're doing. It's an online radio station hosted by Live 365, color940.com. We play local artists and R&B artists or unsigned R&B and rap artists from here and across the nation. I get music. I mean, to keep it 100, I get music from New Zealand, all across the waters. I actually do. I just don't play it because I don't think the listeners would actually want to gravitate toward that. And to keep it 100, just to keep it 100, the listeners really don't want to hear local rap artists or R&B artists either. That's all a lie. They don't support that.
You know
But
what's crazy about that, man? Back when I was on the road with the Black Embassy, man. The first thing, if the radio station would even give you any love, they would say, "We got this local group out of," and I'm like, "They just killed you. They just killed us. They just made us local." And I always disagreed with that, man. And people would be like, "Well, I don't see what you're saying." I'm just like, just think about it. If you just say, "Here's a group," and then you can say where we're from after we do what we do or something like that. But don't just say, "Hey, these are local guys," because like you said, people don't support local. We had to literally, our philosophy was we had to leave and go to a whole different state to get hot and then let that state say, "Oh, these boys are doing something." You know what I mean? That was back then. Maybe it's different now because, it wasn't a big internet and all that stuff. But man, when they called us local, bro, it stymied us, man.
It could and it could help depending on where you at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like if I'm in Dallas, right, and I'm leaving the office on my way home to the house, or I'm a football player or a basketball player leaving training camp or practice and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to hear on the radio that there's a local rap group, doing X, Y, and Z, and then they play their music and I like it. Well, that radio station just may have introduced your group or that local group
I get that.
into a potential investor.
Right. I get
what
that.
I'm saying? Whereas
the key being in Dallas where there's millions of people.
Oh, right. It depends on the location. Like,
yeah, I get it. I get that.
Yeah. So depending on where you at, that really might help. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because investors want to know who you tied to, and if you tied to somebody, then they don't see no potential in investing in you. You hear what I'm saying?
I get it.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, no doubt. Like pretty much everything in life is, right? So you still doing your radio because I get it. It's in you, not on you. You know what I mean? But we were talking a little bit earlier. You were saying, I want to hear about the media company.
Right. So what I've been doing this for years, though. I just incorporate all of my skill sets under one umbrella.
Right.
So
Color940.com
is the radio station, but it's actually a media company. We produce content for the masses as well as for customers, private customers and stuff. So we do both of those. And it's fun. You know what I'm saying? Being in a smaller market is a little bit more challenging, definitely. Being a minority in a rural market is definitely challenging. But I like to make money based off of the skill sets that I already have. So that's what we do. And
that's how you eat, no doubt.
The last thing I did was a series called Dark History. And Dark History was basically me going around my community and interviewing people, minorities, who had accolades that were phenomenal. So if they were sports athletes, lawyers, politicians, judges, as long as they were Black, you know what I'm saying, I needed to talk to them. And the reason why I wanted to talk to them and get that content, there's a fly, I don't know why. But the reason why I needed to talk to them and get that content and get it recorded as fast as possible and documented was because I don't think that another group of people coming into our communities trying to get that content is a reasonable idea. Like, why would white people want to go to the east side of Wichita Falls and interview Black people? You got to give them Right.
Yeah.
And what purpose would they have of documenting our history
Right.
for us?
Right.
And for
Right.
black people to sit back and think that white people finna do that is crazy. For black people to sit back and not document their own history is crazy. Because
Onus, baby. Onus. Yeah, I get it.
if we
I get
not
it.
finna document
Accountability,
it
man.
and we think other people are, that's crazy. They not
And they're not
thinking
going to
like
document it right anyway.
they can't tell it right.
They can't because it's from the inside, not the outside.
Listen, I've done this, right? So Caucasian people who are not from black neighborhoods do not want to go into black neighborhoods and interview black people. Like,
Well, it's a fear thing. Let's keep it real. It's fear. It's based off fear.
Right. So they're not comfortable doing that. And they don't have no problem telling you that.
Right.
That's why it's not being done. That's why you're not gonna see nobody going around the city of Fort Worth, for example, and they're Caucasians documenting people in the city who have done phenomenal accolades. They're not gonna that are minorities. They're not gonna do that. But you will see them doing white people because it's easy to go walk up to the white person though, and you're a white person and shit. You know how they're either gonna be nice or they're gonna be grumpy. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're either gonna be nice or be an asshole. It's real simple. You know what I'm saying? I'm white.
Yeah,
White.
no doubt. No
Hey,
doubt.
we just want to get your information. And yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's different for black people, and black people in rural areas don't have any of that going on.
Right.
So I felt like it was a service that I was
There it is.
I was doing
there it is.
You know
and that's a 360 to what we were saying at the beginning, man, of this interview. Anytime you doing a service, it's gonna move. That's just the way it is. That's what the universe says, man.
See, it moved. It did. It moved. But I will tell you this: if you are a content creator and you're using the camera to capture any type of content, don't depend on black people to pay you for it because they're not going to pay you for it. White people will pay you for that same content.
Well, again, does that go back to the poverty thing?
Yes, because they don't understand the value of the content.
Right.
Like,
right. Well, no, that's real.
Great grandmother. If you have a great grandmother in your family, somebody needs to be recording her in video, speaking her truth.
Yes.
Ask her about her time growing up.
I get it.
What life was like then and versus now. Any advice that you might have now, they need to document that, bro.
That's powerful, man. That is powerful, brother.
They don't do it though. It's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? And me.
Well, but what I like about you see a lot of people see problems and just talk about problems. But from what I'm seeing with you, you see problems, issues, or something, and you go get in it. That's commendable, my brother. That's commendable. It's very commendable. And saying that, I want to back up because you said something that I want to touch on.
Okay.
Black brothers, from a rural place, small city, and accolades. Mm-hmm. You just had to come down to Dallas, maybe 2 years ago? And you were, what's the word I'm looking for? You received an accolade, man. You were being recognized for something. What was that?
Shout out to Texas Mike, also known as Michael Hansborough. He's a striving rap artist with his own label. He's located in Dallas now. You know what I'm saying? Look him up, Texas Mike. He reached out to me and he wanted to present me with this award because he wanted to recognize me as an influencer from where he was from.
Diggin.
And I totally appreciate the award. That was commendable in my eyes, because I mean, to keep it 100, I should have way more awards than that. Just to keep it 100.
No doubt. Like, I totally agree.
Like, listen, before I got on the radio, wasn't nobody getting interviewed on the radio. Like, I interviewed small business owners, minority women, local rappers, R&B singers. I even opened the door up and allow any rando to come in there on a Friday and do a freestyle. They don't do that in radio.
FUBU, baby, for us, by us. You know what I mean?
So they don't do that. That's not, even with the DJs that were there, and some of them are still there right now. They not doing none of the stuff I was doing. When I was there, when I had the platform, me and my team, people that I deal with, we paid for Michael 5,000 watts to come to Wichita Falls to check out local talent here. Don't nobody do that shit.
Right.
Don't
That's
nobody pay,
again, that's a service though, you know?
but they don't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, the real
They
do. The real recognize real. You know what I mean?
um I have a kinfolk in Fort Worth, Jakari Cameron. Shout out to him, man. That kinfolk be on one. You know what I'm saying? He be reaching out and networking with different people, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, from across the
Right.
country and making things happen. And it was through his networking where I was introduced and met Mike Jones, the rapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I met Mike, started talking to him. You know what I'm saying? I try to build relationships with everybody that I meet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not finna be a bugaboo person. I'm not finna be calling you every 2 weeks. Man, how you doing? I don't do all that. I'm not finna be bothering you. But
Right.
when we come together and we sit down, we talk and we have ideas, whatever we talking about, I'm planning on making some money. That's just bottom line. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to
I'm
make it
trying to figure
lucrative.
out,
I get that.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out how we can make this beneficial for both of us. You know what I'm saying? And not just sitting around talking about football. I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? I need to figure out
Talk about
how we
people that
can,
already got their millions, right?
right. And the reason why I'm like that is because I've seen myself manifest money 7 months before the money came. And it was
Right.
simply by sitting down, planning out some stuff, you know what I'm saying, and putting a plan into play. And then after 7 months in one night, I got 5,000 rack. You know what I'm saying? I got
Mm-hmm.
5,000 in one
Plan,
night.
plot, strategize, man. See, people don't understand. Nothing is just an event. You know,
No.
the event is the manifestation of all of the steps before that. You know, and a lot of people don't think about the process. They only see the event, but everything is a process. Like you just said, it's a mental process. It's a planning process. It's an executing process. You know, there's a lot to it. And
Right.
I'm
And shout
glad you
out, shout
alluded
out
to
to
that,
Mike.
man.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Jones, man, because he was real cool. I'm talking about I've never had a platinum rap artist in my home. This man
Dig
came
it.
to my home in the Avenues, which is one of the worst crime-ridden places in Wichita Falls. I don't care what them
Mm-hmm.
people on the news tell you. It ain't the East Side where black
Right.
people at, or
Right. It's the
Linwood, or
ass, no doubt.
Professional. It's the Avenues. And I stayed in the Avenues for 10 years.
Avenue
Mike,
J, Avenue, in case y'all don't know what he's saying, Avenue E, Avenue H, Avenue
right.
G. Right, right, right.
Um, and Mike would pull up to the house. You know what I'm saying? No, him. Shout out to Young Deuce. That's usually who he was with, or his producer, Strong Arm. He pulled right up to the house in the hood, and we sit there and talk for hours. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
might be
yeah,
coming
yeah.
from doing a show in Lubbock, so he stopped in Wichita, and he can come by and what I'm saying, sit at the house,
Dig
and
it.
ain't nobody gonna mess with him. So
Right,
he'll stop
right.
by, on his way back to Dallas or Houston and shit. He'll stop in Wichita and chop it up with me. You know what I'm saying? So we built a relationship off of that. You know what I'm saying? He was
Yeah,
real cool.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
And to the point where he came to one of the bars that was owned by uh family of mine, the Ledesmas. And
Okay.
he came to that bar and performed 3 songs for free on a
See what I'm
Tuesday night.
saying?
While
Man, that's on the
local artists,
love right there.
what? He just showed up to check out the local talent. And when he walked through the door, look, I'm finna tell it, so I hope Mike don't get mad. But when I seen him pull up, I ran to the DJ boy. I said, man, give me the microphone. Cause when he come through here and shit, you need to put on this song, nigga. And when he come through, I'm gonna give him the mic, start playing this song and shit. And let's see what happens. Shh.
Yeah.
Mike rapped 3 songs. Just
Hey,
like that.
man, you just reminded me of something, man. That's crazy. Because, I mean, now I'm just saying this to say that it's in you and not on you. Man, your cousin throws the parties, down in Wichita. And I'm telling you, man, you might not have seen me in years, bro. Man, I walk through that door, man, you MCing with the mic. The first thing you do is look at me and shout me out. KMF Jam. What's up? In the place to be. You know what I mean? That's love, man.
I adapted that into my style of DJing and MCing when I DJ, because I always thought that shit was dope as hell. Like
Right. It
I
is,
grew
man.
up, I was a fan of Cheers when Norm would walk through the door, Norm,
No,
I'm like,
yeah. But see, but
fire.
hold on. But let me finish the thought though, because in that same night, in that same place, I got the opposite too. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
I know you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm just saying, big ups to you, man, because regardless what you got going on, regardless what you do, man, you always kept it right here with me. You know what I'm saying? And I said at the top, man, we've never had an issue. You know, and you was telling me a story off camera about the guy I was in the group with. If I'd have known he was doing that, it wouldn't happen like that. And what I'm alluding to is that he wouldn't let you come to the studio with us and all that stuff.
Oh no, he used to little bro me like a motherfucker and shit.
Yeah, man. See, now I'm telling you, man, and I'm telling in front of everybody, if I'd have known that, it wouldn't have happened.
But hold up though. Watch this though. I'm grateful for that.
No doubt. No doubt.
Why? Because the people that came into my life because of that denial, nigga, I know platinum and gold producing artists. I'm talking about they have these plaques on their walls when I walk in their home. I know people who have had personal meetings with Jimmy Iovine, the owner of Interscope Records, or the president of Interscope Records. I know people who have gotten money from Jimmy Iovine himself to produce their albums. And I talk to these people to this very day. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he can say the same. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know he can't. You know he can't.
You know what I'm saying? But it was a blessing because I was able to network with these people.
Yeah, no doubt.
And to keep it 100, Kinfolk was an inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Because what he did was I wanted to be just as good as him or better as far as rapping went. You know what I'm saying? So he inspired me to bring out the best in me and always search for the best, you know?
Thank y'all for tuning in to A Conversation with Harold Bennett. This interview happened because he is offering a service. And if you offer a service, it's not for yourself, it's for someone else, to empower someone else. And so if you want his service, then you can reach him at loverofwisdom@gmail.com. Also on Facebook /DJ Low. And you can also tune into his radio station, City on Lock Online Radio. Those are the ways that you can reach him if you want his service. Because again, we believe here at this network that if you're doing a service for someone, it's not for yourself. It's to empower or help someone else. So thank you for tuning in to Digging Too Deep on the Marvel Knot Network.